Hey, Young Turks, it's Nomi Const. I'm here in Houston at the airport getting ready to board a plane to LaGuardia back home where I wanted to give you guys a quick update before our report comes out because I spent the entire weekend covering the DNC forum, the second DNC, official DNC forum, where the chair candidates and vice chair candidates and secretary candidates and treasurer candidates and one finance chair candidate all got together to make their case to the DNC members. Now they're doing a series of regional forums where DNC members who are elected from their region can come and learn about the people who are running for these office positions. Now, in the last 2 weeks, there have been a couple unofficial forums and a lot more conversation. I got to give you guys like an honest update. It's turned into like they're running for office, right? So all of these candidates, at least the ones that are being taken most seriously, have a group of consultants. They've raised money. I'm not kidding. They've raised money, except because it's not an election, I can't, go and look it up in FEC filings to see where the money's going, who's, who they're paying, or who's giving them money. And that, I think, is ultimately the big question here. So the majority of these candidates, and I'm going to focus on the chair candidates right now, have consultants, which is fine, right? Like, you need help along the way. But it's started to become like, who has more consultants, who has a bigger operation. There was very poor attendance yesterday. Only 30, by the members. There were a lot of people at the forum yesterday, and people cheering on, and, different sections, and, who's got more support versus, that's the question right now, is it's like, how does the support from the outside community influence the membership? And there were only 31 members who RSVP'd, and it was very poor attendance. I was out last night talking to some people who were working on these candidates' campaigns, and they're saying that some of these members aren't going to show up to any of these forums. They don't care. They're getting phone calls. Some of them are being visited if they're chairs in their states, but a lot of them have made up their minds already. So the media also is not there. There were 3 reporters there yesterday: me, Dave Weigel, and Gabe DiBenedetti from Politico and from Washington Post, right? If the media is talking about how this is a horse race between Tom Perez, Secretary Perez, and Keith Ellison, I think they're getting it wrong. There are a lot of candidates on that stage right now that have support in their communities, in their regions. They have experience as chairs, some of them. They have experience within the DNC organizing. And quite frankly, I think some of them are doing it because they want to run for office for a higher position. Now, what that means is, there are new people coming into the race every day. And so we went from having 4 candidates to 9 candidates to 13 candidates. And then when they're on stage, they don't get enough time to talk about the issues. So you're not having real substantive conversations on stage. Now, we've had interviews with all the chair candidates except for one, and we've interviewed a couple of times. Of course, Tom Perez has not granted us an interview, and quite frankly, he's not answering questions. And that's been reinforced by a lot of reporters. It's not just me. And the question is, why him? He's saying a lot of what everybody else is saying. And I ask that to everybody, why you? Who's backing you? What's your support? Right now, it seems to be that the divide, and I've talked to members about this too, is over the finances. Some chair candidates want to open up the budget for the DNC because it's never been open before, so they don't know where the money is being spent. And some are saying, let's keep it, let's not make it transparent because we don't want the Republicans to know where we're spending our money. Now, the question is not being completely transparent. It's about being transparent to the vice chairs and the position holders of the DNC. The other story I'm hearing over and over is these DNC members they don't really have any power. Neither do the vice chairs. They're just ceremonial. So there's been a lot of real hearty conversation about shifting and changing the DNC, the culture, making the different positions. There's some candidates who talk about deputizing the different positions so that they actually have the ability to shift rules within the DNC, so it's not overtaken by consultants and not this murky culture of you're not sharing information with the members, let alone those who are giving money. Some people have talked about if they're accepting money, well, why can't you say where you want that money to go, what state you want that money to go to? Because the truth is they have raised more money than ever, and now they're not going to have the president to raise money off of. So there's a concern about, are they going to be able to raise the money? And so there's also this debate about lobbying money. Should we continue to accept lobbying money or not? And that is a divisive issue right now with these chair candidates. There's been a lot of focus on how they're going to raise money. I would like to hear more about where they're going to spend that money, because my hunch is right now there is a consulting class in the DNC, and I've heard this from consultants that I've interviewed. The consulting class in the DNC is what's dictating everything. There are people who are who are unwilling to change the rules and the priorities and shift the money back to the states because they want to keep their contracts with the DNC. And there are some members and some who are consultants, some members who are lobbyists who are concerned about losing their contracts, and they don't like the fact that they might have a rule now in the DNC that would call for an end to conflicts of interest. So all those members who are no longer, who are consultants or lobbyists would no longer be members. They don't like that. They don't like that their contracts are going to be cut. They don't want that. So they're backing certain candidates right now who are going to make sure that the DNC continues to spend the majority of its money on consultants. They're going to make sure that the budget's not transparent. And I think that's where the divide is right now. There are some folks who are willing to shift the culture, and some folks who are really just speaking in platitudes and not saying much and giving rousing speeches to get clips on TV. And then there are a lot of these DNC chairs who act a certain way on stage because they know the cameras are watching, but then when they're out there talking to members, they're saying other things. So I'm going to keep giving you guys updates along the way. Right now, I think you can probably guess who the candidates are that are willing to shift things, but pay attention. This isn't a two-dog fight right now. There's Jamie Harrison from South Carolina. There's Ray Buckley from New Hampshire. There's Jamu Green, who used to work at the DNC. There's obviously there's Keith Ellison, who's a congressman from Minnesota. Tom Perez, the former Secretary of Labor from Maryland. And Sally Boynton Brown, who is an executive director right now, and there's a few more. So just pay attention to these candidates, because the votes are going to start to split, and then as they start to drop out, this is what I'm guessing, as they start to drop out, they're going to put their support behind another candidate. And my fear is that if this shift in culture doesn't change, there will literally be riots. Literally be riots. All right, guys, I have to get on my plane. They're boarding us right now. I'll update you more as we go. Thanks for tuning in.